What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Heartslayers. We are the Heartslayers. I am Derrick Acosta.
And I'm Meg Turner.
Today, we're going to be answering calls, taking emails, solving all of your relationship problems. Let's get it started. Okay, everybody. We're going to take an email from an anonymous viewer who goes by the letter J. And their email reads, "Hi, Meg and Derrick. Longtime viewer. Both of y'all are awesome.
Thanks.
I do YouTube full time and have recently quit college. I've been burned in the past with girls using my career as a way to use me for money. So I was wondering, how early in getting to know a girl should I tell them I'm a full-time YouTuber? On apps like Bumble and Tinder, the conversation sometimes leads to what I do for a living. If I'm still in college, I want to make it seem like I do something. I want to be honest, but I don't want people to use my career against me. Keep in mind that I also keep my identity on YouTube secret, so it's another reason against telling them what my career is. Best regards, Jay." So, this guy is dating a lot of gold diggers.
Man, they're after that YouTube money.
They want to get that PewDiePie money. Here's the thing.
Can't make money on YouTube anymore.
When you tell somebody you're a YouTuber, the first question is, "Oh, so you're like PewDiePie? You make like millions of dollars?"
If only.
Everybody thinks you're a millionaire because you're on YouTube. We can't all be that fortunate, but how soon do you tell somebody what you do for a living? Maybe it's you're a YouTuber. Maybe you're a stripper.
Yeah.
And you don't want to, freak the person out. You're a
Exactly.
male stripper. You don't want to freak your girlfriend out that you work at Chippendales. You don't want her coming down to Chippendales trying to, yank all the tips out of your thumb.
Oh, man. Give me those tips.
I also don't, for nowadays, it's pretty much well accepted to tell people you're a YouTuber.
Yeah.
It's a legitimate career. Mm-hmm. People watch YouTube and they know that YouTube does big budget stuff.
Yeah.
I was going to say, when I was starting out back in my day, I didn't want to tell people I worked on YouTube because it was embarrassing.
Yeah.
And people thought like, oh, okay, so how long until you start collecting unemployment checks?
Right.
Now that stigma is gone. So I confidently tell people that I work on YouTube. But for me, I want to be a filmmaker.
Yeah.
So I usually introduce myself as a filmmaker.
Right.
And then I tell people I do YouTube videos, I do music videos, I do, writing for television and short film and stuff like that.
Yeah. I was going to say that there are ways to make it pretty vague.
Yeah.
Like saying I'm a content creator. But then again, it's like, you're a YouTuber.
That sounds dorky.
Yeah, well, totally. I
tell
hate the
people,
word content.
Yeah. Don't ever use the word content, no matter what.
No.
Die before you use that word. I would tell people either I'm an entertainer or a video producer or
an editor. I don't know.
Yeah, one of those. I'm in entertainment or I'm in video production.
Yeah, I think video production's pretty strong.
And I do a lot of work on the internet. That's really all you have to say.
Yeah.
No matter what job you have, certain people out there will think, ka-ching, like, oh, this guy's an investment broker. I want to be with this guy. So, it's not just because you're a YouTuber that people might be expecting you to be a little extra loaded. That comes with a lot of careers.
Yeah. I remember when I was on Tinder, I had my job listed. I had Mega64 listed.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And
very prestigious.
There were dudes hitting me up for jobs. So that's
joke's on you. No jobs available, dudes.
Exactly. I was like, man, I worked hard to get my job, so good luck. But I guess it makes sense that if you have your job listed as a YouTuber, girls are like, oh, hey, what's up? Maybe I could kind of ride on this dude's shoulders.
Yeah, well, to our viewer who wrote this email, I would just say keep it vague.
Yeah.
You can keep things vague without lying. You don't have to be deceitful. You just don't have to go into in-depth detail about every little aspect of what you do.
Especially since your identity is a secret on the internet.
Yes, and in this email. Appreciate the question. Hope that sorts it all out for you. We got another email here. This comes from a viewer who goes by the letter D, and it says, Dear Meg and Derrick, I have been a fool. On season 2, episode 4 of Heartslayers, I wrote to you guys about my girlfriend who was getting angry too easily and shouting at me a lot. And the advice you gave me was to break up with her and not allow myself to be treated so badly. I showed my flatmates the video, and they all agreed, but for some dumb reason, I can't seem to do it. In the end, I decided to stay with her as things seem to be getting better for a bit, but unfortunately, she has gotten more angry to the point where she will insult me on personal things I've told her out of trust if I do even the slightest thing wrong. For example, I forgot what time she had a job interview, and she started saying all my ex-girlfriends were whores, and I'm never going to get anywhere in life. Whenever I try to bring issues up with her or tell her that I still feel hurt by the things she said, she'll just get more angry and tell me to stop hassling her. We are now long distance, as I no longer live in the student halls with all the girls she hated, and I am about to go on a train to visit her, but for some reason I feel very uneasy about living with her family for a week since I still feel somewhat hurt by the things she said and don't see the point in dealing with the anxiety of staying at her place if I'm feeling less feelings for her. I might be rambling a bit. I just don't get why I'm struggling to break up with her. I know it's probably the right thing to do, and since she's so toxic and all, and probably verbally abusive to an extent, it probably sounds dumb. I want to break up, but I also want to stay with her, as I'm not sure I can do better. Have you guys ever experienced something similar or struggled to break up with somebody? Thanks, D.
Oh, boy.
All right, so D, we already solved your dang problem for you, and you didn't take our advice.
Yeah.
And you know what happened? Your life got a lot worse. So I hope you heed our advice today and don't make the same mistake twice. And break up with this dumbass B already. What are you waiting for, man?
You've acknowledged that she's verbally abusive and just toxic.
Do you have more to say?
Just what are you doing?
I've been there. I've been in a relationship with a girl who sucked.
Yeah.
And every day I'd wake up thinking, God help me. I hope this is the day when this relationship ends. And I'd actually say to myself, well, maybe she'll break up with me. She seems so unhappy.
Yeah.
But that never happens because sometimes there's girls out there and they just feed off of that ability to control and manipulate their boyfriend. And they think, I hate my fucking boyfriend. He sucks, but I'm glad I have him so I can boss him around.
Yikes.
You know, it makes them feel good that they're able to exert this power and control and manipulation over you. So if you're waiting for the situation to resolve itself, dude.
You have the power to resolve it yourself.
This is how people get married.
Oh, no.
In bad marriages.
Yeah.
And then they get sacked with a couple of kids, and then they're really stuck for life. And next thing you know, you're 55 thinking like, is she gonna break up with me soon? Is she gonna divorce me?
I've wasted my whole life.
I've wasted my whole life.
Yeah. So the issue also is he doesn't think he could do any better.
Yeah, that's a confidence issue, which is probably sabotaging you from doing what you need to do. Listen, it doesn't matter if you can do any better.
Yeah.
Because you can't do any worse than this. I would rather be alone and single than be with somebody who sucks and makes me feel like garbage.
Yeah, just break up with her.
Being alone is so fucking great.
Yeah.
Being single is awesome.
It is.
You get to play video games for as long as you want. You don't have to worry about if your girlfriend has an interview coming up or not. You have more time to hang out with your friends who are actually nice to you. And if you meet a cute girl who starts flirting with you, you're able to pursue it because you don't have a shitty girlfriend at home making you feel bad for every new friend you make.
Yep.
Being single is way better than being in a toxic relationship. So just remember that. And also, your self-esteem sucks probably because you have a shitty girlfriend.
That's what I was going to say.
And when you have a good girlfriend, every day you're hearing about how great you are, how cute you are, how cool you are, and your confidence skyrockets.
Yeah.
But when you're dating somebody who constantly tells you that you suck and you're an idiot and you're unattractive, you start to believe it. So you need to get out of that situation.
Yeah.
And now you're in a long distance relationship with this person? Come on. Long distance relationships suck when you're dating somebody you actually like. But they're especially bad when you're in a long distance relationship with somebody you hate.
That's just a hassle. You're feeling anxiety to go and stay with her. That's not how you should feel.
Luckily for you, my friend, this is the one time, sorry, for anybody out there who's in a long distance relationship, this is the one time your LDR is going to become an asset because breakups are easier when you're in a long distance relationship because you can literally just stop answering the phone. Yeah. And listen, I know people out there are going to think I'm a jerk. I don't care. I want this person, D, I want you to ghost your girlfriend. I don't care how long you guys have been dating. I don't care if you were each other's first love. She's treated you like shit. She doesn't deserve a good breakup. She doesn't deserve resolution or closure. She doesn't even deserve to know if you're still alive or not. Just delete the number and ghost her.
Yeah, but what if she's crazy?
Sounds like she is.
And goes after him.
Then when she shows up in person, you can
Call the
re-break
police.
up with her.
Call the police.
Ghost her for a little bit and just get used to the idea of not talking to her.
Okay.
And just incrementally increase the ghosting phases.
Okay.
So like just stop returning calls, stop responding to messages quite so much.
Yeah, and if she's that toxic, she'll probably not really be reaching out either.
Yeah, and then start going like a day without talking, and then you extend it to 2 days, then 3 days, then you go a week without talking. This is a classic pre-breakup preparation, preparatory move. You start putting distance between yourself and the person. You already physically have distance between the two of you.
Right.
Now you need to get some emotional distance.
Yeah, but main point, just break up with her. Just don't fucking bother with her.
Yeah, break up with her quickly or break up with her slowly. However you do it, break up with her. What I would actually recommend you do after you watch this video, get on the phone, call her up. She'd be like, hey, what's up, idiot? And you'd be like, I'll tell you what's up. Me not being in this relationship anymore.
Yeah, I like that.
And you say, I'm not feeling this relationship. It's not working out for me. I need to take some time for myself. You can even do the classic, it's not you, it's me. Just be like, I haven't been feeling myself lately, and I just need some time by myself. So you know what? I think we need to go on a break. Click, and then you're free, man.
That's it.
You're gonna be sad for like
a day.
I'm gonna say 4 days at most.
Yeah.
But then that 5th day rolls around. You're gonna wake up, stretch out, the sun's gonna be shining, and you're gonna think to yourself, life's great. I'm actually totally fine not being in a relationship with that person anymore.
Yeah, because imagine a day where like you're not being belittled or feeling like shit because of some girl.
Yeah, or even like worrying about the future of your relationship, the anxiety of like, is this gonna work out? When are we gonna break up? Is she gonna be mean to me again? Like,
yeah.
And your self-confidence will come back. You know, start going on walks around the neighborhood. Start eating some lean chicken, you know, getting in shape.
Hang out with your friends.
And it'll all get better.
Yeah.
Like that. Almost instantly. Almost instant improvement. You will see. Within 1 week, you're going to be 100% better than where you are right now.
Yeah.
So let us know when the deed is done. And I don't want to hear another, I've been a fool. I'm still with my girlfriend. I don't want to hear that again, okay? This is your last chance to get off the shit relationship train.
Yeah. Or we're going to break up with you.
Or she's going to lock you in. You know? She's going to get pregnant.
Fuck.
By some other guy. And she's gonna pretend that it's your baby. Oh, geez. You're going to get locked in.
That's not good.
Worst case scenario. Don't let that happen. Thanks for the email. Good luck. Okay, everybody. We are on here talking on the phone to Vinny. Vinny, you are speaking to Meg and Derrick, the Heartslayers. What's happening?
Oh, not much, guys. First time caller, but a long time fan. My basic thing is sometimes I feel like I love my girlfriend, and we've been together for a little bit over a year now, but I just feel like she's always right about everything. And over the months and stuff like that, I just feel like, wow, I'm the biggest dummy around, like socially and anything. I don't know. it kind of hurt my ego and mentally and stuff like that. I don't know how to go around to like talk to her about it.
So, can you give us an example? Is she literally always right about everything, or is she just the kind of person who
Not literally.
insists that she's right?
Not literally every single time, but most of the time it's just that she has this like sometimes condescending attitude, like, come on, everybody should know this. And I'm just like, how am I supposed to know that?
Yeah. Well, like, what has there been an example recently where this happened to you guys?
Yes. God, I apologize for taking the time. I just don't know how to fully say this correctly.
That's all right.
But basically, it's just.
What was the
It's just
situation? Were you guys
normal
hanging out with
social
friends?
interactions and stuff like that.
Okay.
Like, normally you shouldn't do certain things out in public, and a part of me just doesn't really care what other like strangers will look at me, but like certain things I couldn't do. And I don't know. I couldn't think of a recent one, but I know it's just a common thing.
What was like the first time you noticed this behavior?
I guess it's kind of my fault. A couple of months ago, we went out to this outdoor mall, and I guess out of habit, I just lift up my shirt and just scratching my tum-tum. And she's like, "What are you, an animal?" And I was like, "God, I didn't think it mattered. We're just hanging out."
Okay. All right. That's a little uncouth.
Yeah.
Scratching the tum-tum in public, but I guess it's not crazy. You're at the
No.
mall.
Yeah, well, outdoor area where there's like, like Starbucks, Barnes and Noble, and Cold Stone ice cream.
Yeah. Did it legitimately upset her, or was she like...
She's like,
She was a little frustrated. Like, this guy does not know how to act like a normal person outside.
How long have you guys been dating?
Just a little bit over a year now.
Okay.
Does she get crazy secondhand embarrassment from stuff like that?
Yes. Like, I will take, like, I guess it's kind of my fault in a way that sometimes I'll just take off my flip-flops wherever we are by accident, and then I'll just stand there with my bare feet on the ground. She's like, "What are you doing?"
Okay. And so, does she make you feel embarrassed?
No, it's hard to get me to feel embarrassed. My whole family is we're kind of just very open about a little bit of everything.
Okay. Well, yeah, what?
So I apologize for interrupting.
No, it's fine.
And I don't know. It's just how do you go around like talking to your significant other about like you just don't know about like social norms and stuff like that, and you're kind of it's hard to ask for help about what you should and shouldn't do out in public.
It sounds like she is the one who is probably wondering, how do I talk to Vinny about
What you shouldn't do.
social norms? Because she's the one who's getting embarrassed, it sounds like. It doesn't really
Yeah.
seem like you care. You're very casual and unfazed by it all.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. I'm very casual about my body in the outside area.
Yeah, so I mean, it just seems like something she's going to have to wrap her brain
Yeah.
around. and
Either
learn
she
to-
has to, she might just have to get used to it, or
Well, over time, she got a little bit used to it about like the weirder stuff I would do. But
What's the weirdest thing you've ever done in public?
so we went to Universal. I don't know if it's the weirdest, but I felt a little cocky about it. We went to Universal Studios, and it was during St. Patty's Day, so I had this entire leprechaun costume on
Okay,
because my mom's actually from Ireland. So
nice.
I had this old costume on, and she felt so embarrassed because she's just like this normal looking dressed person, and if you turn next to her, you just see this bright green person in like a tuxedo just walking around Universal.
well,
That's not a big deal. Yeah, I mean, you're talking to the guy from Mega 64.
I mean, I would say that I'm a lot like her in the sense where I get a lot of secondhand embarrassment from people around me because I just hate having attention drawn in my general area.
Yeah.
Like with Mega 64 stuff, I think I've gotten really used to it. But like when I'm out with Matt, my boyfriend, and he does something weird, like, I don't know, skanking in public. I'm like, please don't fucking look at me. I'm not with this person. So I get it. I think it's honestly just something that you need to tell her, like, hey, you're making me feel a little dumb here. And you're kind of hurting my feelings if it is hurting your feelings. And she just has to get used to it.
I was at a concert on a date once with a girl. And, you know, in San Diego, when you're at a concert, everybody just kind of like watches the band and nods their head.
Yeah.
And this girl is originally not from San Diego, and she tried to start a mosh pit.
Oh no!
And she's like, "I'm gonna get this concert going." It's like pushing around and stuff, and I felt secondhand embarrassment, and I was like, "What are you doing?" She's like, everybody here's just fucking standing around like a fucking loser, and I'm like, "Oh my god!" Like,
yep.
And I think I told her it's not your responsibility to start the mosh pit.
No.
Like if it happens organically, that's cool, but
then join in, but please don't.
You can't.
Don't force it.
Yeah, you can't force it.
Yeah. I think it's just like general like goofiness that really gets to me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
But I don't know. The stuff that you're saying, like walking around in a leprechaun costume on St. Patrick's Day, like that's not that big of a deal.
You couldn't have been the only one.
I was the only one because we're in the middle of Harry Potter. Everybody's wearing these Harry Potter get-ups and stuff like that. I never seen the movies at all or read the books.
I mean,
and I'm just sticking out like a sore thumb, and everybody's just staring at me because I'm just bright green while everybody's different shades of gray.
Like that's any less cringy.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're still kind of dressed up in costume, so who cares?
It reminded me too. I went on a date once with this other girl who we went to the movies, and she took her jacket off, and she had this shirt on that said like nerd porn.
Ew.
Like I am nerd porn or something like that. And I was so embarrassed by her shirt. I actually I feel bad. I was kind of mean to her.
Oh no.
I think identify more with Vinny's girlfriend than Vinny, or maybe both of them, because I just started asking her these really pointed questions. I was like, what does your shirt mean? And she's like, I don't know. It just says nerd porn. I was like, well, what does that mean? Like, is
it just like a gaming website, or what was this nerd pornography?
She's identifying as nerd porn.
I think the context was like, I'm porno for nerdy people, you know, and I was just like so embarrassed by her shirt. I was like, what does that mean? Are you like, I asked her like, so you're like, are you pornographic to nerds or something? And she's like, I don't know. And I was like, well, why are you wearing that shirt if you don't know what it means? And she's like, it's just a shirt. I'll put a jacket on. I was like, thank you.
Oh, God.
I felt embarrassed by the shirt, but you know,
I would be too, actually.
In all these instances, the relationship didn't work out. So
right? Yeah, fair.
I didn't really date those people for very much longer. But for you, Vinny, I would say, you know, I would bring it up to your girlfriend and just be like, look, I feel like sometimes I embarrass you, and then that I don't feel embarrassed by what I'm doing, but I feel embarrassed because I have embarrassed you. And I don't care what anybody else thinks about me, but I only care what you think about me. And then just start the conversation, and maybe she'll give you some tips and tricks on how to not embarrass her. Maybe she'll say, like, if you're going to take your sandals off, just do it when I'm not around or something. I don't know what she'll say.
Just do it in private.
She'll give you some stipulations as to do your thing without embarrassing her.
Yeah, no, I totally get you. She caught me one time in my boxers and sunglasses in the backyard, like on a canoe, because we have like a small canal. And she just, a neighbor's just looking at me, and she's like, get in the house. We're now.
Yeah, once again, you know, you're in the backyard. Who cares?
Exactly. Maybe she needs to kind of loosen up too.
Yeah, maybe you should just go extra until she, you know, raise your outgoingness. And then when you tone it back down to normal, she's like, thank God he's just wearing the leprechaun costume today. Yeah.
Anyways, right. Next time I'll just wear the leprechaun jacket.
Yeah.
And boxers, and that's it.
Yeah. Do it in small steps. Just incrementally ramp it up. We appreciate the call, Vinny, and hope it all works out for you.
Thank you so much.
See ya. All right, everybody, we are on the line here with Jack. Jack, you're talking to Meg and Derrick, the Heartslayers. What's up?
No, I got a lady problem.
All right, what's happening?
So I mean, I've had girlfriends before, right? I've had some relationships in my adult life, but this that I've kind of squeezed myself into is kind of like sending my tongue for a loop, if I should put it that way. I'm kind of like passionate about it. It's really like feels like a connection I never felt before. But girl, she's going back to school at the end of the summer. She's taking the semester off. She goes to school all the way in the East Coast. She says she might come back home to the LA area, but she's probably going to find herself a job in New York. Wants to get out of this California that I have really set myself up in. And I don't know. I don't know if it's worth, because I don't know if I'm like one for the long distance thing. I don't know if that's what she might just like. I'm that thing. So
Jack, you're kind of breaking up. Are you on a phone or?
Yeah, I am on.
We're like losing contact with you.
It's not gonna work.
From what I gather, though, your question is, you're dating a girl, you're really into the relationship, but she's moving to the East Coast. She might not come back to the West Coast. And
True.
Are you wondering if you should stay in the relationship or how you should proceed?
Well, yeah, I feel like if I was a mature guy, I think I could handle the idea of just like having a fun summer together and calling it quits. But I think my heart's in it. But I think is it worth it to try to like just have fun and like, or should I like, give up if I think it's not going to work long term? I'm 25. I don't want to feel like I'm wasting my time here.
Well, that's a good question. You don't want to waste your time, but I feel like, you should enjoy what you got and live in the moment while you still can. And, have that. If you really care about this girl, then just cherish the moments you have with her while she's still around. Mm-hmm. And then when it's time for her to leave, have that conversation about where do we go from here?
Right. Because you never know what might happen in the future.
But I go through this whole summer of having fun,
Getting what?
Like if I spend the whole summer getting all attached, like if I do that, I'm a little bit more when I split it up. That's the way I'm.
Yeah. Well, either way, you're going to be disappointed when it's over. So you're either going to limit your relationship and the enjoyment you get out of it so that you potentially limit your heartbreak, or you maximize your enjoyment and potentially maximize your heartbreak, but maybe it'll make the breakup moment easier because you've like had your fill of the relationship.
Right. It's basically like, would you rather have no experience or a great experience?
I think that is the mature way to look at it. Just having a hard time mature.
It's like you see a giant, delicious looking meal and you're wondering if I eat that meal, is it going to give me a tummy ache or am I going to get heartburn? You know what? Don't worry about that. Just enjoy the meal and then
deal with the pain when it comes.
Deal with the consequences later. And then moving forward, you have that experience. Next time you see a delicious meal, you'll know, I've been there before. It does give me a stomach ache. Or maybe you'll be like, I can handle it. I've been here before. It wasn't that bad last time. I can do it again. Life experience is super valuable, and I wouldn't be afraid to have those experiences just because, a little emotional pain might be waiting at the end. You're a tough guy. You'll be able to survive her moving away. So just try to have some fun for the summer.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Don't see.
All right. Well, we appreciate the call, and good luck to you. We got an email here from a person who goes by the letter A, and it says, "Hi, Derrick and Meg. So I've been trying to go out more with apps like Tinder or Bumble, as it makes it easier to ask someone out. How do I go about showing interest in someone that's not through those channels? I'm scared of asking people out and having the awkward aftermath. Sincerely, A."
All right.
How do you get a date without Tinder or Bumble? This
Well-
is such a millennial problem.
It really is.
This might even be a Zoomer problem.
I think it's a bit of both.
The next generation. So, I am trying to think if I've ever actually asked somebody out on a date per se. Like, do you want to go out with me sometime? I don't think I've ever actually said that to somebody.
Right. I was going to say it's never, I think the awkward aftermath comes from being like, hey, let's go on a date.
Yeah, I've always avoided the awkward aftermath and never put myself in a position to suffer the wrath of the aftermath.
It kind of turns into all of a sudden you're dating after just hanging out a couple times.
Yeah. So what I would say is do not ask people out on dates, but you should approach people and just get to know them.
Yeah, exactly. Like whether they're friends or acquaintances or just somebody that you see, like I always feel weird about like the whole store or like restaurant aspect because those people are doing a job.
It's like disarming a bomb.
Exactly. It's
You
like
got like 60 seconds before this thing blows up in your face.
that, and it's awkward because they're kind of stuck in their position, and so it's not like they can excuse themselves really if they're not interested. But if it's somebody that you are interested in, that you have some sort of connection with, just talk to them, learn about them, flirt with them. And I know the common question is, how do I flirt with somebody?
Yeah.
That
well, so this is what I'll say. Go to the self-help section of the bookstore or Amazon. Get a couple books on how to talk to people, how to flirt, how to get dates, but don't do what the books say. Just
do the opposite?
No. Just read them and then glean some information that works for you.
Okay.
I'll be honest. I used to work at the bookstore and I would pursue the self-help section.
Yeah.
And at first, I was always embarrassed to go in the self-help section.
Really?
Yeah, when I was younger, I'd be like, I'm not going to the self-help section. That's for losers.
I don't need help.
If anybody from school saw me there, what would they think of me? But then when I actually started looking in the self-help section, I really enjoyed it because there were so many, nobody's perfect. And a lot of times you don't really get information on how to be a good person.
Right.
Because just nobody knows and nobody's going to share that with you. So I ended up reading so many self-help books on various subjects, like how to talk to people. I read Larry King's book on how to talk to people.
Okay.
There's all kinds of books. I won't go into it, but yeah, I read Pimpology 101 by this guy named Pimpin' Ken.
Oh my God.
Who was all about how to get into the pimp mindset,
Whoa.
which is not really a book that helped me as a person, but it did help me understand other people's approaches to life.
Yeah.
And sometimes I see somebody bring in this like alpha energy and I recognize it from that Pimpin' Ken book. I was like, oh, this guy thinks he's such a pimp right now. But, there's all kinds of books there. There's books on how to talk to girls and how to be a flirt and how to get dates and stuff.
Yeah, because those are all learned skills that you have to kind of develop.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how to go about developing that skill in the first place. You just do it.
Some of the advice is good. Some of the advice is ridiculous. But I really think it depends on what kind of person you are.
Yeah.
Like for me, some of the advice was ridiculous, but for somebody else, they might think, oh, okay, I can make that work.
Right.
So you just have to glean what works for you. I wouldn't say just read the book and go start trying it on people.
No.
But generally, getting a date is about finding somebody that you find interesting and they also think you're interesting and you guys mutually agree to go get to know each other on a higher level.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this person in my class is funny and I think they're cool and I talk to them on the break and I think it might be fun if, we went to the school cafeteria and, sat by each other at lunch, whatever, get a cup of coffee at Starbucks,
Yeah.
the Starbucks next door.
Right.
So yeah, meeting people at work, meeting people at school, that's a lot easier. When you're just in the same area with somebody repeatedly, it's easier to get to know them. And then once you get to know them and you both kind of agree that you like each other, you can start hanging out outside of that environment.
Yeah, exactly.
If you've just seen somebody for the first time at like a restaurant or a store, the only thing you're going off of is, oh, I think they're attractive. And if you're an attractive person, they think you're attractive.
Then it might work out. Yeah.
But if you have self-esteem issues like me when I was younger, you're probably not going to go want to talk to them at all. So.
No, I think it takes a really high like charm and charisma skill there. But
Yeah, which I didn't have at the. Maybe I have that now. I don't know. It's been a while since I've had to ask somebody out.
yeah.
But. Yeah, don't ask anybody out. Just get to know people gradually. And if you guys are mutually interested in each other, then you ask them, hey, do you want to hang out later? Let me get your phone number and let's text or something like that. And then just take it from there. Gradual, small steps. That's the key.
Yeah.
Thanks for your email.
Good luck.
All right, everybody, we are here on the phone with Tonya. Tonya has called us a couple of times. Tonya, your story is you had a boyfriend, you guys broke up.
Yep.
Then he blocked you on social media. Then he unblocked you and apologized. Recently, he's been like messaging you. Maybe you get the impression he wants to get back together. Also, a bunch of guys have started hitting on you now that you're recently single, and that's not cool. That's making you feel weird.
Kind of weird.
This weird feeling. And most of them don't even know, but it's like they have a sense.
Yeah. I don't remember what the advice we gave you was last time we talked, but where did we leave off?
Well, you guys had left me on a note of just, well, as long as you're moving forward, see how things play out and, just kind of go from there. And since then, we had been casually like texting each other for a week. It was just about shared interests, stuff like that, but responsive kind of thing. I didn't really know what to think. And then today, actually, more stuff came up, I guess, because
what stuff came up?
He randomly asked me, because I think I followed him on something on Instagram or whatever it was, because he was sending me stuff there. And I just kind of didn't really think much of it. And he straight up asked me like, oh, why did you, follow me? What were you expecting? And I kind of was very honest. And I said, I realize it's because I miss you, And I know that maybe that wasn't the smartest thing, but I also am not a great liar. So
what did he say? What was his response?
Yeah, so his response was definitely jarring, maybe expected, I'm not sure, but he basically said like he's not looking to get into a relationship right now, and just in general, like things have gotten more intense for him for what he's been dealing with and trying to work on. And he said like he feels like he doesn't know anything and he didn't know what to say to what I was telling him.
Okay.
And he feels like in the end I want to be together, with him. Like he was
which you do, right? That's true.
Yeah, it is true. And he just said like, I'm just letting you know that if it's a fresh start or whatever it may be, I'm not looking for that.
Okay.
And I just have to be honest about it. And I'm not saying we can't talk to each other or anything, but, us texting here and there, I didn't want to put any idea in your head, and I don't know how else to explain it.
Okay.
So
well, that's nice of him. He's being upfront and honest with you.
Right.
Yeah. And obviously it made me upset because I realized, like, I maybe took things with, thinking it was one thing when it was another thing. Like he explained, like, I unblocked you because I felt like as an adult, I shouldn't be blocking another adult and I wanted to be civil. He reached out to me thinking I had reached out to him first, that kind of thing. And it was just like little things that I thought were him showing that he wants to talk. And he said like, no, it's not like I don't want to talk, but at the same time, I wasn't looking for anything,
Right.
And
classic guy.
Yeah.
Always wants.
Now here's the thing.
You got to play hard to get, because when you make yourself available,
I guess,
suddenly they push you away, right?
It's so stupid. Like
what's stupid?
Being hard to get and all this crap. It's so dumb because after the conversation, it was hard. I wasn't expecting it to happen. Like, I'm going to California for work for 2 weeks, and that'll be fun, but it'll be a lot of hard work. But, I've been kind of stressed about that, and I didn't expect to have this, like, hit me, So at the end, I just kind of said, like, hey, like I got caught up in things. I'm sorry again for any wrong assumptions. I know I don't have to apologize, but that's just kind of how I am. And I said, I hope you start enjoying things again. I'm going to start catching up on this XYZ, whatever show that we used to watch together. And, I hope you do the same. And I didn't expect this combo to happen, but I'm glad it did. And then he started reacting with like jealousy that was not called for and made no sense. He's like, oh, who's BB? I type BB for like my friend sometimes and usually for my partner. And I guess I included that in the message and I
Wait, you
have
called
not
him
replied.
BB?
No, I said I'm going to start catching up with on this show that I had put off for a long time
Yeah.
with BB.
Oh, with BB.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like, who's that? Who's BB? Okay, talk to you later, whatever. And I was like, wait, what? And yeah. So
Well, okay, so like relationships, they're an emotional roller coaster. It's a battle
Yeah.
between the logical, what you think in your head, how you should be acting, and then these uncontrollable emotions in your heart that are like forcing you to do these things against your better judgment. So,
yeah.
I don't. You shouldn't pass judgment or try to blame people for acting crazy. Relationships just make people act crazy.
Totally.
And
I
contradictory
was also-
sometimes.
Yeah, and I mean, I was also very emotional, and
Yeah.
I was
As
saying
as far as
and
like
stuff.
the playing hard to get stuff, I just think your ex-boyfriend enjoyed talking to you, but probably felt maybe a little guilty. Like, I don't want to be in a relationship right now. I do like talking to Tonya.
Yeah.
I want to know what Tonya thinks. Tonya, had you said like, I just like talking to you, this is not about a relationship thing, he'd probably be like, cool.
Right.
That makes me feel really good. But saying like, I miss you, maybe insinuating you want to get back together, suddenly he gets cold feet.
Yeah.
He gets this
Yeah.
rush of more guilt, like, oh, this is not what I want to be doing. And he pushes you away a little bit, and then you make him think you're seeing some other guy, and
Yeah.
he gets pushed back the other way, and,
And I
it's
didn't even
tumultuous.
think about, yeah, and it's like, I did realize after I had said it, like, saying I miss you and stuff isn't really helpful. Yes, I'd been realizing I felt it recently, but it doesn't mean I should have said it. I was just happy that we were just talking, but at the same time, I was getting a bit frustrated because it was just kind of, it was weird to me, where
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm glad that we're talking, but what are you doing? And
I
the way
think. Oh yeah, what?
Yeah.
The way he what?
the way he like justified what I thought was him reaching out meaningfully on his own terms, where, he apologized for how he was texting. He said, oh, like, after that, you were the first one to reach out to me. I said, no, I just replied to you and that was it. I didn't expect anything.
Yeah.
He'd been sending me little things on Instagram with cute dogs that I like and stuff like that. And
Well, it sounds like, maybe there's a miscommunication there. Again, this all comes back to murky emotions.
Yeah, but at least he
Yeah.
was upfront about
Yeah,
what
that's
he's
commendable.
going through. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah,
He's not
so
trying
I'm
to like
kinda
jerk
like-
her around or lead her on or anything like
Exactly.
that. You know what?
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but we have been following your relationship drama for a few weeks now. And I
Yeah.
think I'm going to call it.
Yeah.
I think the relationship is over.
Yeah.
And I think you guys should just take some time apart and not talk to each other for a little while.
yeah,
Because I think
and
that
it hurts, but
it sucks. It's sad, but sometimes that's just the way it has to be. That's what all these love songs are about.
Yeah.
It sucks that it has to be this way, but it's the only way it can be. I think eventually, with some time, you guys can legitimately become friends again.
Right.
But I think you really need to let this relationship end. And maintaining contact is kind of keeping the relationship on life support for
Yeah.
at least you, maybe not for him, but for one of you. And that's not healthy. And it's just going to lead to bad, emotional entanglement when you're trying to emotionally
Yeah,
separate yourselves. I think it always comes to a point in a breakup where you just have to say, I'm not picking up the phone anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be in contact anymore. It's tough, but you got to force yourself.
yeah, and one thing that has been obviously like it kind of came down on me today, especially, having a conversation I didn't expect to have, but it's because I said some sentimental stuff. He was not prepared for that either. But, it's hard feeling like you can't, like when it's like one of those things where it's not about you, but you also can't try and do anything. Like you've tried your best and there's nothing else that you can do. And that is what really sucks. And I was wondering how to stay focused and not think so much on that. Because at the end of the day, yeah, I mean, I would want him in my life, but right now I'm realizing like I can't in the immediate vicinity, like I did before. I kept him.
I think the hardest thing to do in a relationship, in a breakup, is to listen to that little voice in your head that is probably telling you the good advice. Like, I probably shouldn't call him. Mm-hmm. Your whole body's saying like, but I want to, but I miss him, but I just want to hear his voice. But then you have this little tiny voice saying like, yeah, but I shouldn't. Yep. Listen to that voice. You have to nurture that skill of listening to that most quiet voice in the back of your head. That's the one that's going to guide you through this situation.
Yeah, and the same thing goes for checking his social media and checking up and keeping in touch like with his life. Because now it's... Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, I hadn't been following him on anything, didn't add him back on anything, but as soon as I did that and he messaged me about it, that's what kind of prompted our conversation today about it. I immediately unfollowed him there, and after I said thank you and everything, he just seemed taken aback by that too. And, I don't want to hurt myself in this process. Like, yeah, if there was that chance, I would have, given that, as I've told you guys. But if you're going to tell me that you're not looking for it and you're not otherwise saying anything else, then I'm not going to expect it either. And you can't get annoyed, that I'm suddenly being like, thankful that you were honest with me at least,
Yeah, you need to stop playing games with each other. You guys just need to get tough with each other, I think, a little bit. No more of this wishy-washy stuff. Yep. Just rip the Band-Aid off and you'll start to heal.
And what advice do you have when it comes to gifts and things that you've gotten where aside from cards and things, I don't know, I might lock them away before I get rid of some stuff, but there's a lot of things that he's given me and I've given him that are just...
Meg, what's your advice for the stuff that reminds her of her boyfriend?
Man, I personally, in the past with my past relationships and that kind of thing, I just separated that from the relationship because they're objects. And it didn't really hold any sentiment for me. My biggest thing was with my ex-boyfriend, we shared a dog. And for a while it was well, it was our dog, but now it's well, no, now it's my dog. So,
you can't see your child anymore. He's my child.
He's my child. I think it's just recognizing that it's a thing, and it doesn't really hold that much permanence, I guess.
I would say take all that stuff that reminds you of your boyfriend, put it in a box. Mm-hmm. Put the box in the very back of your closet and throw a blanket over it. Yeah. And don't look at that stuff anymore. Eventually, months or years from now, if you still are thinking about that stuff, no, I like that thing. Fuck that. My boyfriend's not going to ruin that for me.
Yeah, my ex-boyfriend got me an Xbox. I still play my Xbox. Yeah. I don't give a shit.
I had a girlfriend that we were really into Harry Potter together. For a while, I couldn't enjoy Harry Potter, but then I was months passed, maybe a year, and I said, fuck that, I love Harry Potter, you're not gonna ruin this for me. I got out all my books, binge watched the movies, wrapped my Hufflepuff scarf around me with my wand, and I reclaimed it. I was I'm taking Harry Potter back.
I think when it's certain things, like you said, the cards and stuff, personally I would throw them away, but that's just me.
Sometimes you can't throw it away, though. Yeah. You can't throw it away for whatever stupid bullshit emotional reasons. So that's why I say put it in a box, put it in the back of your closet. It'll stay there. Years from now, you'll have a new boyfriend. You guys will be moving into an apartment together. You'll pull that box out and be like, fuck this. And then you'll dump it all in the garbage. Yeah. That's the time to throw it away, you know. But for right now, just put it out of sight, out of mind, and don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, it's been very interesting because I have definitely not been interested in talking to anybody, and I've turned down many people that were, you know, that was weird. There has been one guy that's like really chill and stuff, you know, and he's cute, whatever, but I'm
All
like,
right.
but I'm also very concerned because like this stuff has like just been happening, you know. I've already been going through the process of reclaiming stuff, like even, you know, actually the Mega 64 podcast, that's something my ex showed me, right? But I have been watching every Sunday and the new videos you put out because I'd already been doing that on my own too. And it just, you know, you guys made me laugh and stuff. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna, like, fuck this. I'm not gonna just let him take that,
Nice.
you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, with this, I don't know, this potential guy, whatever, like, how do I make sure, like, you know, I told him too, like, I'm working through some stuff, but I'd love if we can take things slow, be friends, see if things go anywhere. And he's been really chill with it, you know, but
Yeah. So
how
what's
do
the problem?
how do you make sure that, like, you know, that you're doing the right thing? And if, because I really don't want any rebounds. I'm not interested in that either, and I'm not looking to do anything right now.
Well,
But
if you're going on a date in your current state, you're probably going to be talking a lot about your boyfriend, your ex-boyfriend anyways.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not interested in going on a date right now, but let's just say like 2-3 months or something, I definitely would be down.
All I'm saying is if you don't resolve all this stuff going on with your ex right now, you're not going to have successful dates anyways. So any guy that wants to go on a date with you is in for
A lot of baggage.
a lot of baggage. Yeah. A disastrous date. So I would hang out with this guy and, you know, you're going to need somebody to vent about your boyfriend with anyways. It's going to ruin any
Probably
potential
not vent to
romance.
him. I don't know. It feels kind of weird, like venting to someone that you could potentially develop interest in and bonding that way.
Sometimes it
At
just
least that's how it
happens,
feels to
though.
me.
Yeah.
Sometimes you find yourself venting without even realizing it, and then
Yeah.
it's like
That's
a half hour has passed, and you're like, "Oh fuck."
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like you're just when you're in an emotionally
Compromised.
an emotionally compromised state. Sometimes you can't help yourself. You just end up, you know, bringing all that baggage from the last relationship. So I wouldn't avoid hanging out with people that you enjoy spending time with. I don't.
Which we've been doing a lot of,
Yeah,
luckily.
I mean, if you got a little crush on this guy, spend some time with him. You don't have to date him. Just, you know,
Yeah.
enjoy being around somebody who's not your ex-boyfriend. And,
Yeah, just hang
and
out.
Get back to enjoying life without your ex-boyfriend.
Exactly.
And I guess the last thing, you know, since I'm going to California, I'm going to San Jose, so like Silicon Valley, there's not a ton going on. I'm going to try and rent a car so I can actually go places on my own. But when you've gone through a really rough breakup and, you know, realizing like, you know, in that moment, like, okay, like I do really need to move on there. I shouldn't think about any chances right now, you know, like what, like, how did you feel and how did you pick yourself up? Because right now, I'll be honest, the hardest part is when I'm like even packing for this trip, it's very hard because my mind wanders and I'm not trying to think of him or anything, but he's there and it sucks. And I'm trying to not feel that way.
So your question is, how do you feel
Like
happy
right after a
about...
breakup, how do you just try not to let yourself get beat down, especially like when you're alone, you know?
Your all of your problems stem from staying in contact with your ex-boyfriend. All of
Yeah.
it. You haven't ended that relationship yet, and so it's not over, and so you're not getting closure on it because it's not over yet.
Right.
You're going to have to stop talking to him. Then you're going to have to be miserable for a little while and miss him.
Yeah.
And then slowly you go so long without talking to somebody that you think to yourself, well, now it'd just be fucking awkward if I reached out to him.
Yeah.
And once you at that point, you're forced into just getting over it.
Yeah, and then after so much time has passed too, you just find yourself not even thinking about that person.
Yeah, totally.
Or if they do come up in like a conversation or you accidentally see something from them on like Twitter or whatever, it's like, oh, I haven't thought about
Yeah.
that person in 5 months.
And it's totally normal, like 3-4 weeks of this bullshit. Like, we broke up, but we're still talking, and I'm still into you, and I'm not over you. And that's so normal. But now I'm telling you, you've gotten to the point where you're sick of the bullshit. The relationship is not coming back. You know it. It's time to officially end it. Deal with it. Rationalize, reconcile with it emotionally, and then you can start to move on. It's totally normal to not feel like you've moved on yet. You're at that stage where you need to just completely cut off and get used to just not having your boyfriend in your life anymore.
Yeah, and I feel like I was doing that, and then he reached back out, and god damn it. I mean, it was nice talking, whatever, but clearly it just prolonged some stuff.
Totally. That's so normal. This is how breakups go.
Yeah.
You're right in the thick of it.
Stupid.
I know.
So stupid.
But now you have
I
the
didn't
chance
get any sex
to...
out of it though, at least. That would have been nice. I'm just saying.
Well,
that's
well.
You win some, you lose some, Tonya.
Exactly.
You've got the new guy there, so
Hey, maybe there's something there.
Maybe.
All right. Well, we appreciate all your calls, Tonya. Good luck to you. All right, everybody, that's going to be our show for today. We want to give a big shout out and thank you to all of our callers, emailers. If you have a situation that you would like to talk to the Heartslayers about, you can call us up every single Monday at 4 p.m. Pacific time on our Discord, bit.ly/Heartslayers. If you can't call us up, you can always write us a short email at heartslayers@mega64.com. Keep it short because we have so many emails. We can't even read the long ones at this point.
Yeah.
Big thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon, patreon.com/mega64. For just $1, you get early access to all the Heartslayers episodes. You can also follow us on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, at Heartslayers. You can follow me on Twitter at Gustavo. You can follow me on Instagram at Derrick Acosta only.
And you can follow me on both at Furnace Woods.
Thank you for watching. We'll be back in just 1 week. We'll see you next time.
See you later.
Bye-bye.